Well, I wouldn't expect anything other than him finish. I don't know where that expectation level came from that he needed to set out just because he got a little hurt ankle. But, you know, JC demonstrated last year that he can play hurt, all right? And we have to understand as a group, collectively, offense, defense, special teams, the difference between being hurt and being injured, all right? I've always heard that my whole life. And you know what? We're a weekend account. You're banged up. You know, you're coming off an off day, but we just went through 5 days in a row, 3 days in pads. I don't expect anybody to feel good. And I promise you they're not going to feel good at the end of this training camp. So I need to see somebody build and bringing through and being the best that they can be, even though they may be a little nicked up. And JC, I knew JC would do it. He did it all last year. So it was good to see because people tend to follow. You know, they see somebody do that and people tend to follow. So we need guys like that.
I'm just saying doing it during the course of the season is one thing, doing it on the 6th day of training camp.
Yeah.
It's not wired any other way.
Yeah, I hope not. I don't want people wired any other way. And I want to see what we're going to get in the season. I want to see on the field. I mean, we ain't done anything. What season? Last year when we were 7-8-1? Hell, that ain't what is that? That's like barely just enough to talk about it for the next year. That's what that is.
What do you need to see from Antonio Callaway for him to kind of get to the level that you want him to be at? What are some of the things he needs to do for you?
You know, he needs to keep getting better. You know, he needs to keep deciphering the coverages and his reads accordingly. And he needs to be consistent catching the ball and running routes. And he'll get to where he's wanting to go.
Are you kind of making him earn his way back up the depth chart a little? Because sometimes we see, even when Odell's out or Jarvis is out, he's still not with the first team.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody understands who our starting receivers are, okay? But everybody else is competing, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I don't know. We have not got one depth chart in our room anywhere. So I don't care who's in there. I just want them competing. I don't care if you have 3 wide receivers Baker's never thrown to, or Jarvis and Odell and Higg and Callaway. I don't care. I just want to see what they can do. I want to see what the quarterback can do. I want to see what the line can do. I want everybody competing. I don't want them worried about a depth chart because let me tell you something. They're not only competing against the guys on this field, they're competing against guys all around the league. So don't mistake that for, our depth chart. We don't have a depth chart right now.
All right, a couple of things before we get into this. Number one, Smiley One, you saw the commercial before. We've had 3 people from our company here in the last week or 2 that needed services from them. They handled it, couldn't be happier. Terrific job, price is right, and thanks to Smiley One for doing that. All right, Freddie Kitchens, a couple of observations.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he has handled the PR side of it, the interviews and all that. He doesn't view it as a distraction. He views it as part of the game, and he plays along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really grown already in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The off season now is a couple of weeks. Number two, he legitimately, unlike some people, and I'm not going to name names, he legitimately seems like a nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
no, he hasn't been asked to explain a call in the 4th quarter of a loss.
Yeah, like clock management.
Yeah, like
where somebody would
someone,
take him on.
Yeah, someone in the media will question him on those things. But
at this point,
yeah.
Usually there's a point, and maybe this is going to happen. It's either game 1, game 6, game 9, where every Browns coach since 1999 has had that look on his face like, how did that happen? I've never seen that before, and no wonder they can't win here in Cleveland.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
I don't see that. I think his personality is part of the reason why he's in this position.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they got to see it last year when he got ascended to coordinator. They got to see how players reacted to him. We know that there are a couple of stories that are pretty well founded of him, addressing things with players that they might not have wanted to hear. So
right.
I don't think he's a guy who's going to walk gingerly around egos in the locker room.
Right.
I don't think
And
he'll
he
go out
has
of his
some.
way to antagonize those.
No, but he has some for a first-year
and he
coach.
does, absolutely.
Usually a first-year coach is coaching a team because they weren't very good and they didn't have much talent. Well, there's talent here this year.
There certainly is.
Let's go to